What we don't talk about divorce in NRI life. In India, the official divorce rate is less than 1%. It's one of the lowest in the world. But when we, as South Asians, move abroad, these numbers change. For Indian Americans, the rate is estimated to be between 1.3% and 6%. For British Indians, the story is similar, and thousands of divorce cases involving NRI couples are currently pending in Indian courts, stuck between two legal systems. So what is happening? Why do so many relationships that began with hope and sacrifice end in silence, thousands of miles away from home? Hi everyone, I am Priya and welcome back to It's Okay Yaar. Today we are talking about what happens when love breaks abroad. Because for many of us, a divorce in a foreign country isn't just the end of a relationship, it is a biographical rupture, a crisis of identity, law and loneliness. And we need to talk about it in three parts: the emotional crisis, the legal crisis, and the cultural crisis. Part 1, the emotional crisis, loneliness. When a relationship breaks down back home, you have a support system. You have your parents, your siblings, your childhood friends. When it happens abroad, you are completely and totally alone. It's what experts call a support vacuum. The loneliness is extreme and that emptiness gets louder during the holidays. One NRI woman wrote about her first Diwali after her separation. She watched families celebrating from her apartment window and said, "I cried having left mine." Therapists who work with South Asian immigrants say this is the most common thing they hear. "I have everything I ever wanted, a good job, a nice home, but I still feel empty." And this isn't just about losing a partner, it's about losing your entire shared community. One Indian man in the UK shared his story of how, after his split, friends he considered ours simply abandoned him, labeled him as the bad guy for initiating the divorce. This impacts everyone. For many women, it's terrifying identity crisis. One woman described her divorce as ending version of myself that existed since I was 21. And for men who often socialized in our culture to not show emotion, the silence is deafening. They often face what's been called a loneliness epidemic, leading to soul-crushing loneliness and depression with no one to talk to. Part 2, the legal crisis, immigration and transnational battles. On top of that profound emotional pain, there is a logistical and legal nightmare that is terrifyingly real. First, let's talk about the most immediate threat, your immigration status. For anyone in the US on a dependent visa, I'm talking H4, L2, J2, this is the most important part of the video. Your legal status in the country is tied directly to your marriage. The moment a judge finalizes your divorce decree, your visa is gone. It is automatically and immediately terminated. Let me be absolutely clear, there is no grace period. You are instantly out of status, and if you have an H4 or L2 EAD, your work authorization is also instantly invalid. You must stop working immediately. This creates a terrible power imbalance. An abusive or controlling partner can often use the threat of divorce and deportation as a weapon. Your only option is to be proactive. You must file to change your status to an independent one, like an F1 student visa or an H1B, before the divorce is final. And if your situation involves abuse, which includes emotional cruelty, not just physical violence, there is a critical protection called VAWA, the Violence Against Women Act, which allows you to self-petition for a green card without your abuser's knowledge. Now, as if this wasn't complicated enough, many NRIs are fighting legal battles in two countries at once. Because the couple lives abroad but the marriage was registered in India, the case gets filed there. We are talking about thousands of couples stuck in this transnational limbo. This means draining legal battles, flying back and forth for court dates, and dealing with a system that can be weaponized. We've all heard the stories. The research mentions men being shattered by false accusations of dowry harassment or abuse, which can destroy a family's reputation. And on the other side, women are trapped with one writing, "I have never lived alone. I didn't know how to pay bills or handle documents," leaving them financially and logistically paralyzed. Part 3, the cultural crisis, Log Kya Kahenge. And wrapped around all of this pain and legal stress is the one thing we all know, the cultural prison. Log Kya Kahenge? What will people say? You might think that people will disappear when you move 8,000 miles away. But in this diaspora, our communities are small and tightly connected. Gossip can travel even faster than it does back home. One woman told the NRI Pulse, "I kept asking myself, what will people say? How will I manage alone?" In our culture, marriage is seen as a merging of two families. A divorce isn't a personal choice, it is a public failure. And that burden of shame falls disproportionately on a woman. She's a homewrecker, she's a damaged goods, she couldn't adjust. This is the dutiful wife dogma and it's toxic. This often creates a painful generational divide. First-gen immigrant parents who grew up with traditional values may see their child's divorce as a profound family failure. The second-gen kids raised in Western society see it as a necessary step for personal happiness. This clash can add another layer of trauma to an already impossible situation. The path forward, the agency quest. So you're isolated, you're fighting legal battles, and you're facing judgment from your own community. It sounds hopeless, but it's not. The research shows that for many, especially women, the entire traumatic process gets reframed. It stops being a story of failure and becomes a transformative agency quest, a journey to find yourself on your own terms. It's a journey of healing, and that healing looks different for everyone. For some, it's therapy. For others, it's rebuilding a life through new routines, new hobbies, and new friends. One woman who used to go to yoga to heal said it's the way to recover her bodily sovereignty. She said, "My body remembered how to trust before my mind did." And you do not have to do this alone. Because the traditional support system of the family isn't always available, a new one has been built. I want to share 3 critical resources for South Asians in the US. We will link them all in the description. Number 1, Sakhi for South Asian survivors. They are a lifeline providing legal advocacy, helpline support, and empowerment for survivors of violence. Number 2, Maitri. Based in the Bay Area, they offer a helpline, transitional housing, and legal support for South Asians facing abuse or family conflict. Number 3, Samhin, the South Asian Mental Health Initiative and Network. They have a directory of culturally competent therapists and even run support groups, including one specifically for divorced women. Please do not suffer in silence. Help is available. This is a tough, complicated conversation, but it's the one we must have. We need to replace judgment with empathy. Experts say that people who seek legal and emotional help within the first 6 months of separation have a 70% higher chance of recovery and life satisfaction after divorce. That's not luck, that's self-leadership. So if you are listening today, remember you don't have to stay silent, scared, or ashamed. There is a system that can protect you, people who can guide you, and a life waiting beyond fear. Divorce doesn't always define you, your comeback does. Because courage isn't about staying in a broken story. It's about having the strength to write a new one. And wherever you are in the world, it's okay to start again. I want to hear from you in comments, not for gossip, but for support. What advice would you give someone who's feeling completely isolated right now? Let's use the space to help each other. Until then, this is Priya signing off. Have a wonderful day.